Well, howdy, everybody. It is Wednesday at 11 a.m. So you know what that means. That means we are here to do another Rodeo Houston live ag chat. And so I'm so excited about today. I'm excited about every time we do one of these. And today is especially exciting. We've got a great pair that's going to join us today. So as we're getting started here, just want to go over a couple things so more people can join us online. I'm Chris Boleman, Chief Mission Officer at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, coming to you today in my home office, like so many of us out there are working from. And just a little background, what we're trying to do here is promote agriculture. That's of course a significant piece of our mission at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So the background and the behind the scenes of why we're here is to help promote agriculture. And so the first week we did it with Junior Master Gardener. You all remember that. Lisa Whittlesey talked to us about tomatoes and flowers and peppers. And hopefully as a family, parents and kids together, that's a project that they can work on in a home garden or a raised bed or whatever works for them. Last week, you may remember, we talked to Dr. Randy Boleman, who happens to be my lovely bride, and we were in our kitchen and we made pizzas. We made a bow-legged H pepperoni pizza, if you remember that. And so I think on the screen you'll see those recipes. We got those posted. So when it's safe to go to the grocery store, as when you get to go to the grocery store, if you're ordering food online, there's some recipes for you for the pizza. We made homemade salsa. I'll admit ours got a little spicy. I'm not gonna lie to you. A little hot, a little spicy. And then we also had a strawberry pound cake. And so those recipes are there. They're posted on the website. And don't forget, we challenged families and kids when they make their own pizza to take a picture of it and post it at the bottom of that ag chat. So if you're joining us for the first time, there's nothing wrong with that. We got an outstanding lineup for today, but at the same time, you can still go watch those two lessons. We try to keep them to 25 minutes or less. Randy and I may have got a little long-winded. I'm a little fearful of that today since the guest I know we have today that could get a little long. But today's focus is a little different. We thought we would take some time to really talk about agriculture and what it really means, like in the world. And folks that are out there that advocate for agriculture every day. That's what they do. And they're farmers and they're ranchers and what that life looks like. So we're very excited about today's session. Don't forget, tell us where you're from in the messaging. We want to hear from you, and you could, tell us where you are. If you have questions, send them to us. We've got some great experts today to talk to us a little bit. So don't forget, as we're walking through this session, to fire away your questions as best you can. If we don't get them answered, I'll ask Caden and Dr. Zanolini maybe to get on and maybe answer some of those questions afterwards as well. We did some of that last week. So I am pumped for today. With us today, we have Dr. Billy Zanolini. Dr. Zanolini, who I've worked with for many years, he's an assistant professor with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension and the program leader for the Ag Ambassador program. And so we're going to talk to him here in just a minute. In addition to that, I'm going to call on, we've got Caden Carver. He is a 4-H and FFA member. And so from Hale County, Abernathy, Texas. So we're going to call on him in a minute, but we're going to start with Dr. Zanolini. Hey, Billy, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, Dr. Bowman. It's a beautiful day here in College Station. And other than, like a lot of people, needing a haircut, I mean, everything's good. So
well, excellent.
Proud to be here with you.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. I'll tell you, we already have people from Bel Air that have joined us today, Lafayette, Louisiana, Far West Academy, and Katy, Texas. So we're seeing some of that. You're talking about a haircut. My wife cut my hair the other day, first time ever. And so we survived that. But
did you use cattle clippers, or what you do?
She did. We did.
There you go. I love it. That's great.
We can talk a little bit about that. I bet Caden has some example cattle clippers he can show us in a little bit. So Billy, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, if you don't mind sharing that with the audience.
Absolutely. I'm proud to be here, and I'm glad Caden could join us. And this is a wonderful opportunity. Just quickly about me. Grew up in Northern California, 60 or so miles north of San Francisco, in the wine country, Sonoma County. My mom, when I was 8, got me involved in 4-H in the Alexander Valley 4-H Club. It really took with me, and I really enjoyed it. and really kind of continued to develop in the livestock project, showing lambs first and then moving on to cattle, and started raising swine. And really enjoyed my time out there and in California. And there's some great people and some great agriculture.
Yeah.
And it was just really, it was a very positive experience being out there. But the 4-H program hooked me early.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. And I love hearing those kinds of stories. And a lot of people don't recognize California as such a big agriculture state. We won't get into the details there today, but certainly people can look that up. It's a great agriculture state, much like Texas. So as an assistant professor, you work a lot with the livestock shows and with agriculture, youth education. Tell us a little bit about that. And before you do that, I thought I'd let you know we've got people from Mississippi on today. Allie Hernandez is from Irwin, North Carolina. Welcome, Allie. Glad you're with us today. But Billy, talk a little bit about what you do for a living.
Sure thing. No, youth livestock and agriculture specialist with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. So basically, just broadly speaking, anything that's related to youth and agriculture, whether it be livestock, row crops, any of that, our office is gonna work in that. Specifically, a couple of the things we do. With the really fun part of our job, we manage leadership programs like Caden's on. He's a Texas 4-H livestock ambassador. We have other ag leadership programs. We provide resources to county extension agents and ag teachers related to agriculture. We manage something called quality counts, which is quality assurance and character education for our major livestock shows. And we also manage cattle validation. So here in a minute, you're going to see a calf tied up to the fence that in June is going to get a tag in his ear and have DNA pulled on him. And he's going to be eligible to go to Houston because of the work of county extension agents and ag teachers in his county, and entering and sending all of his information to us that we house here at our office. But mainly we just get to work with young people and in the projects that they're in. So it's really fun and exciting work. I teach a little bit on campus from time to time, co-teach some classes in ALEC. But overall, just have a blast every day, just because we get to work in agriculture, get to work with youth, and try to make a difference through their efforts. So,
yeah, and I got to throw this in, Dr. Zanolini, because
yes, go ahead.
You work for Texas A&M AgriLife, your house on campus, but you're a Texas Tech Red Raider, another outstanding agriculture school and a great partner. So if there's any Red Raiders out there, give us a guns up in our messaging. Any Aggies, give us a gig 'em as well. Hey, but before we get to Caden, I have one other question for you, Dr. Zanolini, and that is with COVID-19 and the state that we're in now, we're starting to see articles and some news releases on how this is impacting farmers and ranchers. What can you say about what can you tell us a little bit about what farmers and ranchers are facing?
Sure. Of course, in my position, I get the chance to visit with them constantly. I live with them; they're around me. My family's in it, of course, and there's just so much uncertainty out there, and now we are seeing some articles prop up. But I tell you this, I'm no expert in this area. I read things just like everybody else does. And I will say, though, the agency I work for, Texas A&M AgriLife, has some wonderful resources on their website. We try to link that up with Texas Youth Livestock when appropriate. They have information that's out there. But yes, to be sure, there's things that we're working on in the food supply chain that nobody planned on and nobody could have seen coming. And the good news is there's wonderfully smart people with USDA and advocacy groups like Texas Farm Bureau, Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers, Texas Cattle Feeders, lots of people and advocates out there that are making sure the farmers and ranchers' voices are heard, making sure they're working with USDA, making sure they're working with local governments to make sure that we were still putting a safe and wholesome product on shelves around the store. And that's something that I've found very, very impressive, is that with all the challenges that we've had, we may not have the choices that we've had in the past in terms of products that are out there, but there is food on the shelves, and farmers are doing their job in getting things out of the field and to the consumers. And now how the food gets there, and is there some waste, and could things be improved? in the chain, absolutely. But as I mentioned, there's some incredibly smart and bright people that are working on this currently. And this is just what Texas does. It's what the United States does. They're going to find a way to make things work. They're going to innovate, and we're going to make sure that everybody's getting what they need. But farmers and ranchers are doing an incredible job right now. They're just, for a lot of them, their life hasn't changed. It's the daily grind. They're going out there, they're doing what they love, and that's producing for people.
Cool, that's great. And hey, how about a thumbs up out there or a heart for all our farmers and ranchers, because we are so fortunate to be able to live in a country where we do have such great farmers and ranchers and a great food supply. And you talk about talented, smart people, and as you mentioned just a second ago, and I think you have one for us today. Do you mind introducing our special guest today, Dr. Zanolini?
Absolutely. That's Caden Carver. He's coming to the Panhandle. Just quickly about Caden, he participated in our Texas 4-H Livestock Ambassador short course that we hosted at Texas Tech and West Texas A&M last year. And Caden went through a 4-day boot camp, up to 10, 12 hours a day in animal science, to be trained to be a livestock ambassador, so we could send him back to his county and he could work with his county extension agent with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension to extend the extension mission. And what Caden does on a daily basis is mentor youth that are out there regarding their livestock projects. He's an advocate for animal agriculture. And so he's had media trainings. He's had a lot of different things going. But what he is also is just an outstanding young man who's very hardworking. We were talking off air before. He's got 10 head on feed already. He's excited to get this show year started off. So here's Caden, everybody.
Cool. Let's go to Caden then. Thanks for that great introduction. Caden, no pressure. Billy just said a lot of good things about you, and you have media experience. So this should be really fun. We are getting some guns up. We definitely are getting some Aggie giggles as well. So how about a heart for, if you don't mind out there, for Caden joining us live today. Caden is a 4-H member in Hale County and a Texas FFA member in Abernathy FFA. So Caden, why don't you tell us to start with, tell us where you are today.
Yes, sir. As Billy said, I'm in the Panhandle of Texas, about 20 minutes north of Lubbock. And as you can see behind me, I'm in my steer barn where we keep all of our steer projects that we show throughout the year.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us. It sounds a little windy up in your neck of the woods today. Is that right?
Yes, sir. The weather has been really crazy this past week, with 2 days having snow on the ground, and now today being warm and really windy.
Well, good. I'm glad you're still able to join us, and I love the fact that we have a young person from rural Texas on with us today, Dr. Zanolini, somebody that's been through the program and is obviously, you could tell, already working so hard for your projects as you look into next year. So y'all give a thumbs up to Caden as he's joining us. Caden, tell the people that are watching why showing livestock is so important to you and your family.
Yes, showing livestock is very important to me because I think it really builds a foundation for a young kid involved in agriculture. I think that it really teaches them a hard work ethic and to learn responsibility throughout their young years so it can carry over to their future. And as for my family, it's really important to us because we raise Herefords and we're very involved in the stock show industry along with the beef industry.
Good deal. Yeah, so that's excellent. So tell us a little bit about, as you're starting to plan for the 2021 year already, looks like you have a steer behind you, but tell us a little bit about what your plans are and what you have on feed already.
Yes, sir. Right now we have 10 head of steers on feed, which a diversity of breeds ranging from British breeds, which include the Red Angus, Angus, Shorthorn, and Herefords, as you can see behind me. And we have Americans. And then we're hoping for 1 or 2 more crossbreds to put on feed this year.
Cool. And is it just you, Sean? Do you have brothers and sisters with you, or?
Yes, sir. I have 2 other siblings that show with me that we take throughout the whole year.
Cool. Excellent. And so it's a family event. Do you mind, do you mind telling us about what is a daily schedule like that you have in taking care and providing care for these projects?
Yes, sir. With raising Herefords, my day-to-day is very different. But as far as my steers, every day I'm required to feed them twice a day, rinse them to make sure their hair and coat is presentable for shows throughout the year, and make sure their living conditions are clean and sanitary. But on the production side of things, as to producing meat for the consumers and raising commercial cattle, it changes throughout the year during different times. It can range from cows being calving and checking them 2 to 3 times a day, or moving cows to different pastures, or washing babies that we sell to 4-H and FFA members.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So in addition to showing livestock and at your family place there, the other thing that intrigues us and why we wanted you to come on board is your family is farming and ranching. That's what you guys do for a living. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We raise cattle that will go after the stalker phase into the feed yards and then go to be slaughtered so we can provide meat for consumers around the world.
Cool. So talk a little bit about, or maybe you can show a picture if we can talk a little bit about what that operation looks like. So this is your barn where you have your livestock that you're planning to show, but you have a lot of other things going on there. Do you mind giving us a quick tour?
Yes, sir. As you can see in here, this is our show barn where we have all of our cattle that we are showing this year. And out behind me right here is some of our calves that we have available for sale for 4-H and FFA members this year. And we have a different location where we keep around 50 calves right now that are about to go on wheat that we'll raise out and sell into the feedlot.
So in addition to raising cattle, right, in terms of providing nutrients, we talked last week with Randy about wheat, and that's the base of the pizza, so to speak, for the crust. And so you guys have a wheat and pasture operation there that these cows can utilize. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. After we wean our calves, we put them on wheat for about 90 days before they get to that 750, 800-pound range before we put them in the feedlot.
And that's another great agriculture tip, Dr. Zanolini, right? Is that, what's unique about cattle and unique about sheep, and if you don't mind speaking to it real quick, Billy, of just how they're able to utilize forage that, frankly, we as humans can't use. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Boleman. Yeah, you led us right into it, and that is, yeah, one time in a row, right? That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right though. It's an amazing thing that's out there in terms of an animal that has 4 compartments to its stomach that some people don't know. The forage enters, it's turned into a protein that we all can utilize in terms of a marketable meat protein. So they take land that's too rough for row crops, too rough and coarse for anything else. And these large ruminants like cattle, small ruminants like sheep and goats can go out there and they can convert acreage into usable protein for us. It's an amazing trick in nature that these animals can sustain off of that. So they're unique in that regard. So yeah, I think that's a great point.
That's awesome. So back to Caden. Caden, I got to ask you a couple of other questions. This is a family operation, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm curious to know in a family, because so many of us, we work and we come home and relax, and I've got a few cows here that I get to play around with, but you get up, your family gets up every day, and this is their job, right?
Yes, sir. And we all have different roles. My dad and uncle really control the business and accounting side of things, and then between my siblings and my cousins, we're in charge of taking whatever's thrown at us. And as I said earlier, with the different time of years, we have different jobs ranging from the calvings part to washing calves and selling them to 4-H and FFA members. Yeah.
So you said your dad and uncle get to control everything. I'm curious, do you ever get to push back and kind of say, hey, man, I want to do it this way? Do they listen to you? Where's your mom fit into all this?
Oh, she definitely makes very good food. But for me, as I've got older, I've had an increase in responsibility and say in this as the business side in managing different forages and different nutrients and diets that we have on these cattle. And I've also been able to keep a say on breeding, on making successful breeds to be successful in the show ring and producing quality meat.
Cool. So how many cows do you have?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How many cows do you guys have? How many total?
Yes, We run about 200 to 225 bulls, cows, and heifers all together.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Well, let's, so I'm going to ask you one more question, Caden, if that's okay. And I'm going to punt it back to Dr. Zanolini. So you speak with so much passion about this. That is so clear to me. And one of the things that I've noticed as we've done these exercises, this is our third one, but man, when you see people that are this passionate and so they're connected to a purpose here, and it is clear to me your family believes strongly in farming and ranching. Where does that passion come from?
I think it really came from my dad. As my grandpa started this operation in the early 80s, he passed away suddenly, and my dad took it over, and he's increased the number of head we have on this by a ton. And just seeing his passion for the beef industry has really carried over to me. And lately, due to the COVID-19, I've really had an increase in passion with not as much meat available, and for us to produce more quality meat to go from farm to fork for consumers all around the world.
That's awesome. Well, very well said. I have to tell you, Caden, you're getting a lot of love on Facebook right now. You are the star of this episode, that's for sure. So I tell you what, how about a thumbs up, a heart, a round of applause, whatever it is you can do. Caden, how old are you, if you don't mind me?
I just turned 17 this year.
So Caden is 17 years old. Listen to how much passion he has when he speaks. Listen to how articulate he is. The yes, there's no. So he's just such a respectful young man. And Caden, boy, I can't wait to see you in 2021. I can't thank you enough for joining us real quickly today to be a part of this session. What you and your family do for feeding the world is just, to me, we don't recognize it enough. We need to do better. And hopefully this session helps people understand kind of what's happening in the industry. Hey, Dr. Zanolini, I want to punt back to you. Did you have anything else for Caden?
No, other than he did a great job, and looks like that media training was well spent, the time we did on that. So great job. Super proud of you as always. Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. It's a real good opportunity.
Yeah, you were awesome. And I have done some of that media training with Dr. Zanolini, and I'll just tell you, he's pretty intimidating. And so, and you know that, right? So this is probably pretty easy, but still getting some text messages, and a lot of them are just, to be honest, they're just praising Caden, which I'm good with. I think that's fantastic. And for that matter, it's one of the reasons we get up, Dr. Zanolini, both you and I, every day is to provide these opportunities for young people. Dr. Zanolini, I want to go back to you for just a minute. If you could tell the public, if you know, from where you sit and what you just heard Caden say as well, what would you want the people to know about agriculture and our food and fiber industry, if you don't mind? What's the messaging that we all need to be talking about?
Well, I think it's, it starts with the youth, and Caden just put on display of just how much the youth have to say and about agriculture. And if you know anything about agriculture, you know that farmers and ranchers are aging, and we need to do whatever we can to bring up the young people in our program. And nobody does that better than Texas FFA and Texas 4-H. And it's so great, and 4-H and FFA programs across the country, obviously, as well. But there's no other youth organization that's focused solely on developing young people in agriculture as these two organizations do. And then the leadership opportunities that are provided to them, along with opportunities to attend major livestock shows like Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and then the scholarships that are associated with it. That's a small segment of agriculture, to get back to your question. But what it does do, and these projects do teach, is the principles that these young people are going to need going forward if they choose to go into these areas in the agricultural industry. And what we believe in, and what the idea that we lean into every day in my job, and what makes it so much fun, and you just got to hear why, is that we believe in young people. We really do. We feel like they are the solutions to so many of our problems, and we feel like they have something to say. So even a 14-year-old that can't drive yet may have a very innovative idea right now in their living room about how to improve the supply chain in agriculture. And that's the truth.
Yeah. So to that point, I want to drill down and just have one more question for you, because, I mean, Caden obviously lives in rural Texas. He lives on a farm. He has some things that he can do every day that a lot of other kids may not have the opportunity to do because they live in the city. What advice do you have for them, or maybe what are some activities that they can do or learn from to have a greater appreciation for agriculture?
So just to clarify, so folks that are in urban settings, what can they do?
I mean, Caden can go outside every day, and he has those cows or whatever. But for me that lives in Houston, and
Right.
what is the messaging you could give to families today that are at home that maybe live in a neighborhood that don't have a barn in their backyard? What could you tell them about agriculture, and what could they be doing?
Sure. So the really neat thing about today's time, and especially right now, is that so many things can happen virtually. And I would challenge everybody, if there's a silver lining, and there's several that have come from our time at home and more interaction online, and all the things that are happening, all the resources that are being put out there, is that people are actually spending a lot of time learning about where their food comes from. And it's a wonderful thing. And what you're going to find if you do some searching, you're going to find farmers and ranchers across the country that want to welcome you on their place virtually. And you can learn about how cows are milked, and you can learn about row crops, and you can learn about goats, and whatever you're interested in regarding your food. The time has never been better, and the resources have never been greater to connect you to your food and where it comes from. And most importantly, the people, because we're all in this together, we really are. The people that make this happen, the people of agriculture in rural areas, you get to meet them. You get to learn more about them. You get to meet a family like Caden's, who's getting it done every day, morning and night. The cows are getting fed. Caden feeds his animals on Christmas and his birthday. And there's just no days off. There are no days off with this. So the message to the public are, you may be inside 610 in Harris County, but through virtual activities, through connecting with Texas A&M AgriLife and other resources, programs like Path to the Plate, we can connect you to farmers and ranchers. You can learn more about it. You can definitely be part of it. You can give us feedback, and we can just serve you better. And that's what all of us want to do.
Cool. Thanks, Dr. Zanolini. And we're going to, with that, I think we'll wrap up. I want to just let everybody know they can also head over to Rodeo Houston Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. We'll be posting some agriculture activities that kids can do at home. And so with that being said, there's some fun facts about agriculture. We have some fun activities and games to learn about agriculture, matching games, word searches, mazes, crossword puzzles, all kinds of things. So we'll get that promoted and posted here, and then also on other social media pages. As we wrap up, let me say this. Let's go back to Caden for just a minute. Can we go back to Caden? Caden, I just want to thank you for being with us today. Thank you for all that you and your family do in the agriculture world. You are a bright young man and a shining star. We look forward to seeing you at the 2021 show. Let's all give Caden and Dr. Zanolini a big round of applause. Caden, if you'll kind of take us out with a big wave, and any closing comments from you?
No, sir. Thank y'all for having me. It was a really great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to next year's show in Houston.
Cool. Excellent. Excellent. So thanks everybody for being on. Another thumbs up to everybody involved. We look forward to seeing you next week. Wednesday at 11 a.m. We'll have a new topic. Thanks. Everybody stay safe. Your well-being is still important. Again, as we always close, please follow what the folks, the officials and experts are telling us regarding COVID-19. We'll be back together soon enough. God bless everybody. Thank you.